Japan, when you hear the name, it conjures up these really vivid, almost contradictory images, right? Ancient traditions happening right next to, cutting-edge tech.
Absolutely. Futuristic cities, serene gardens, it's all there.
And you've sent us this document just called Japan.pdf. It's packed with text, images, covering geography, history, culture. A real window into the country.
It is, and it's quite detailed, which is great for what we do here. It doesn't just skim the surface.
Exactly. So our mission today is to really unpack this material, digging into all those specifics, even the little things, to get a richer understanding of Japan.
Right, to see how those details build the bigger picture. It promises a fascinating exploration.
Okay, let's start with the basics. Geography. The document kicks off saying Japan is, well, islands.
Four main ones that most people know: Honshu, Hokkaido, Kyushu, and Shikoku.
The big players. But then it drops this number, nearly 7,000 smaller ones.
7,000, just pause on that. It's not just a handful of extras.
No. It really changes how you think about the country's shape and its relationship with the sea, doesn't it?
Definitely. Imagine navigating that. Historically, it must have shaped trade, communities, maybe even regional identities versus central control. That detail alone is quite revealing.
It really is. Okay, so thousands of islands, and then the terrain overwhelmingly mountainous. The document is direct. There is not a lot of good land for buildings.
And that's crucial. It's not just a pretty landscape feature. It dictates where people can live.
Which must lead to serious population density in the flat area.
Precisely. It forces innovation in housing, in infrastructure, maybe even that famous Japanese efficiency with space, like into traditional homes or gardens, using every bit of land wisely.
That makes a lot of sense. And even with limited building space, the population figure is huge, 128 million people.
It's a substantial number for a mountainous island nation.
And the source gets specific again about where they live. It says nearly 69 million of them are concentrated along the Pacific coast, between Tokyo and Osaka.
Wow, 69 million in that corridor. That's over half the population.
Yeah, it speaks volumes about history, right? Where the fertile land was, the harbors.
Absolutely. That corridor became the economic and cultural heartland. It's the engine room of modern Japan, really.
So you have this image, densely packed coast, mountains behind, ocean in front, and flowing from that very geography, the weather. It's not the same everywhere.
Not at all. The source highlights a real contrast. Hokkaido up north, long cold winters, warm summers, very northern climate.
And then down south, Okinawa and the Ryukyu Islands. Warm in winter, hot in summer, almost tropical.
It's a massive range. The document puts it perfectly.
Yeah. In December in Japan, you can go and ski in the mountains in the north.
Right, and at the same time, head south and hit the beach within one country.
It's like a whole continent's climate range squeezed into one archipelago. Amazing diversity.
It really is, and that must influence everything: farming, local plants, animals.
Okay, so that's the physical stage. Now, the document introduces this theme: old meets new.
This feels fundamental to understanding Japan.
Oh, definitely. It's presented with these beautiful, almost iconic contrasts. You have farmers growing rice, a practice hundreds of years old.
Deeply cultural, and people watching cherry blossoms. Timeless.
Exactly. Or making tea in small wooden houses. Quiet, traditional rituals.
These are the classic images, aren't they? Serene, connected to the past. But then
The flip side. Better robots, newer phones, more exciting computer games, taller buildings, faster trains.
whoosh, total change of pace.
It's that juxtaposition. The old isn't erased. It coexists, sometimes in really interesting ways, with hyper-modernity. Tradition informing tech, maybe. Art styles appearing in anime.
It creates this incredible dynamic tension, grounded in history, racing towards the future. Okay, let's shift to culture. Politeness and respect. The source stresses this. Millions visit, and apparently, Japanese people are generally very polite and like to help visitors. It's a very common observation. And the text underlines it. Politeness is very important for most Japanese people. They want to be polite to everyone.
It's more than just manners, isn't it? It sounds like a core social value.
Like a social lubricant, maybe? Keeping things harmonious, especially in crowded spaces, it certainly leaves a positive impression on visitors.
You can see how that would foster order and consideration. Then the document flags the importance of work and family.
Right. It doesn't go into extreme detail here, but just mentioning them highlights their weight in Japanese society. You think about the work ethic, family roles.
Yeah, the balance between work and life, which often comes up when discussing Japan.
Exactly. These are central pillars.
And religion gets a mention, which is fascinating. It says, many Japanese people practice two religions, Shintoism and Buddhism.
Yeah, that syncretism is quite distinctive. Shinto, the indigenous reverence for nature spirits, or kami.
And Buddhism, which arrived later from the mainland.
And they often blend seamlessly in people's lives. Visiting both temples and shrines is common.
The source mentions people visit temples and shrines frequently, and there are lots of festivals for both throughout the year.
It shows how integrated these traditions are into daily life, not separate compartments. It suggests a certain tolerance, a practical approach to spirituality.
A deep spiritual layer, maybe not always obvious. Okay, turning to industry. Japan makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
No surprise there.
Nope. Key sectors highlighted are cars producing about 10 million a year, which is staggering,
10 million.
and electronics. Computers, phones, TVs, still powerhouses.
And here's that theme again. Japan is always changing, often doing new things first, but, and this is crucial, it does not forget its past.
There it is, the balancing act. Innovation is constant, but there's this deep respect for heritage woven in.
And even with all the high-tech stuff, agriculture and fishing remain important.
Yes, farmers grow rice, and people catch fish, as they have for hundreds of years. It's a grounding reminder of the basics that sustain the nation.
Culturally vital, even to the economic share has changed.
Absolutely. Identity, food security, it's all tied up in that.
So why do people visit? Well, business is a big one, naturally.
Given the economy, makes sense.
But tourism is huge too. People come for the beautiful art, temples, and gardens.
The classic cultural draws. Serene temples, amazing gardens. They have a powerful pull.
And the source adds theaters and restaurants to the list, a vibrant cultural scene.
Right. It covers a lot of bases.
Which leads to the summary statement. Japan has something for everyone. Its cities are new and exciting, but this amazing country has ancient buildings and culture too.
Perfect encapsulation. Old and new, side by side, appealing to all sorts of visitors.
Okay, let's dive deeper into the past now. Emperors, samurai, and shoguns. The roots of modern Japan go back over 1,500 years, the document says.
A very long history, and crucial early influence came from Korea and China.
Right. Learning to grow rice, make cloth.
Buddhism arriving too. All foundational shifts.
And writing. In the 400s, adopting Chinese kanji. That must have been transformative.
Huge. A complex writing system like that shapes language, thought, record keeping, everything. It allowed for literature, administration. It's fundamental.
Then, from the 600s, emperors ruled, but it wasn't always smooth sailing. Powerful families, clans, were around, often fighting.
Yes, that tension between the imperial court and powerful clans is a constant theme. These families had land, warriors, they challenged imperial authority.
Leading to instability at times.
Until 794, when the emperor moved the capital to Kyoto. This ushered in a period of peace, apparently.
And a golden age for arts and writing.
That's the Heian period, a time of refined court culture, aesthetics, literature. Kyoto was the heart of it for over 1,000 years.
And it's during this time, the early 1000s, that Murasaki Shikibu wrote The Tale of Genji, still read today, the source notes.
Incredible longevity, often called the world's first novel. It gives such a detailed look into Heian court life, and its themes still resonate. A literary masterpiece.
Amazing. But after this refined period, power starts shifting. Fighters, samurai become important, initially protecting local lands.
Yeah, they emerged to provide security, especially in the provinces, away from the court's direct control, serving local lords.
But then, new samurai clans got really powerful. The top dogs were called shoguns, and they wanted to rule Japan.
That's the major turning point. Power shifts from the emperor, who becomes more symbolic, to the military leaders, the shoguns.
Ushering in the shogunate period. In 1185, the text says, the emperor lost power, and Minamoto no Yoritomo became the first shogun.
A pivotal moment, the start of centuries of military rule, essentially.
Yeah.
Though technically ruling for the emperor, the shoguns held the real power.
And this period saw ongoing conflict between clans vying for dominance.
Often, yes. Until 1600, when the Tokugawa clan took over. A very significant name.
Tokugawa Ieyasu established his base in Edo, which is now Tokyo.
A hugely strategic move, setting the stage for Tokyo's future dominance.
And the Tokugawa wanted stability. They set up a strict class system, shogun and samurai on top.
Then farmers, artisans, and merchants at the bottom. Very rigid, little social mobility. It was about control.
Kept things stable for over 200 years, though. And despite the rigidity, Edo flourished culturally. Art, theater.
Yes, the long peace allowed urban culture to boom. Kabuki theater, Kyoto prints, things that appealed beyond the samurai class.
But then came a drastic measure. In 1639, the Tokugawa closed Japan to the world for 200 years.
Shikoku, the closed country policy. No foreigners in, no Japanese out.
Wow. What?
Primarily to prevent foreign interference, especially the spread of Christianity, which they saw as destabilizing. It preserved their power and led to a unique, isolated cultural development.
Then it must have had downsides, like falling behind technologically.
Big time. When the West forced Japan open in the 1850s, the technological gap was huge, a major shock.
2 centuries of isolation. Incredible. Okay, let's switch back to the natural world. Earthquakes and volcanoes? Earthquakes are common, about 1,500 a year, though most are small.
That number always surprises people, 1,500.
Why so many?
Location, location, location. Japan sits right where several massive tectonic plates meet the Pacific, North American, Eurasian, Philippine sea plates. They're constantly shifting, grinding.
Getting all that seismic activity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just quakes. Many mountains are volcanoes, about 15 active ones.
Linked to the same plate tectonics.
Yep. One plate slides under another, melts, magma rises. Boom, volcanoes and geothermal activity.
Which brings us to Mount Fuji, the most famous volcano, highest peak, 3,776 meters. Very beautiful, the source says. An icon.
Absolutely iconic, that perfect cone shape. It's inspired artists for centuries, a symbol of Japan and a huge tourist draw.
And all this volcanic heat means hot springs. Onsen, the document mentions more than 2,000 of them.
Over 2,000, they're everywhere. And soaking in onsen is a huge part of Japanese culture. Relaxation, health benefits, it's deeply ingrained.
Living with this constant risk quakes, volcanoes means people are prepared, right? The source says they are aware of the risks and take precautions.
Just a fact of life there. Building codes are strict. Disaster drills are common. There's a collective awareness and resilience built over generations.
And it's not just the earth shaking. Typhoons are another hazard. Coming off the Pacific, July to October, strong winds, heavy rain.
Yeah, they can cause significant disruption and damage, especially along the coasts. Another natural force to contend with.
The document mentions basic safety tips. Stay indoors, away from windows in a typhoon, get under a table in an earthquake. Practical stuff.
Learned behaviors. Simple, but life-saving.
Okay, let's peek inside life in Japanese homes. Traditionally, lots of wood, paper doors, shoji, tatami mats on the floor.
Right, and futons for sleeping, often put away during the day. Very space efficient.
Sounds quite different from a typical Western house. Why wood and paper?
Wood has some flexibility in earthquakes, better than brittle materials. Shoji screens diffuse light beautifully and allow flexible room layouts. Tatami provides a clean, comfortable floor. It all works together.
And modern homes, still wood sometimes, but lots of apartments now. Maybe beds instead of futons.
But you might still find a tatami room. A mix of old and new, even inside the home.
And reflecting the spiritual side, many homes have small Buddhist or Shinto altars.
But Sudan or Kamidana, for daily prayers honoring ancestors, keeps religion close.
And beyond the home, of course, all those Buddhist temples and thousands of Shinto shrines are community hubs.
Absolutely. Places for prayer, festivals, community gatherings, very important.
And one more detail on home life. Children start school very early, sometimes at 3 or 4.
Yeah, that emphasis on education starts young. Social skills, routines, setting the foundation early.
Now, language and customs. Taking off shoes before entering home, that's a big one, especially with tatami.
Essential. Keeps the inside clean, respects the home. A fundamental rule.
And sometimes people wear geta, those wooden sandals. Easy to slip on and off.
Exactly. Practical for moving between outdoors and indoors, especially in the past. Still seen with traditional clothes.
Greetings involve bowing, and the depth matters.
Very much. Deeper bows for older or more important people. It's a whole non-verbal language of respect.
Nuanced. And when speaking, you add san or osama after names.
Crucial for politeness. Kosan is general purpose, like Mr. or Miss Sama is much more formal, showing high respect. Using them correctly is key.
Then there's the tea ceremony, shinoyu. Dates back centuries, meticulous preparation rituals, more than just tea.
Oh, far more. It's an art form embodying harmony, respect, purity, tranquility. Every movement has meaning. It's about mindfulness, appreciating the moment.
Quiet, respectful atmosphere, a space for contemplation.
Precisely. Minimal talk, focus on the senses, the shared experience.
Another beloved tradition, cherry blossom viewing, sakura. Huge in April, people picnic under the trees. Festivals too.
Hanami, It's a national obsession almost. The blossoms are beautiful, but fleeting, a reminder of life's transience. A very social, celebratory time.
And festivals generally are important year-round. New Year's Day is highlighted as a big family occasion.
Matsuri. Local festivals are vital for community bonding, preserving traditions. And New Year's, Oshigatsu, is the most important family holiday, full of specific customs for good fortune.
Okay, sport and culture. Music ranges from ancient gagaku at temples
That really old court music, yeah, still performed,
to modern J-pop. Again, old and new.
side by side.
Arts and crafts have a long history. Calligraphy, shodo, flower arranging, ikebana.
Highly disciplined art forms requiring skill and aesthetic sense. Shodo is about the beauty of the stroke, ikebana about harmonious arrangement.
And bonsai, those miniature trees, takes incredible patience.
Decades of work sometimes, shaping a tiny tree to look like a majestic, ancient one. A real art of patience and understanding nature.
In the 1800s, ukiyo-e woodblock prints became popular. Geishas, theater, landscapes, like Hokusai's Great Wave.
Pictures of the floating world. Mass-produced art capturing the vibrant city life of the Edo period. Hugely influential, even internationally.
And modern art thrives too, often blending tradition with new ideas.
Always that dialogue, contemporary artists drawing on the past, but exploring new ground.
The source even calls Japanese food art, taste and presentation, and gardens too, changing with the seasons. Aesthetics seem deeply embedded.
Very much so. Visual harmony matters. Food is arranged beautifully. Gardens are landscapes designed for contemplation, reflecting nature.
On the modern side, karaoke, a huge pastime.
Ubiquitous. In karaoke boxes, at home, a big social outlet for all ages.
And finally, manga and anime. Major cultural forces enjoyed by young and old. Akira, Spirited Away get mentions.
Global phenomena now. Manga comics tell every kind of story. Anime brings them to life. Incredible creativity and artistry in those fields.
Right, let's zoom in on Tokyo, the capital, biggest city, main destination. Over 35 million people in the metro area.
A true megacity. The scale is immense.
But it's safe, apparently, with great public transport. Buses, trains, essential for getting around.
Absolutely critical. That efficient system makes the city workable.
And even in this giant modern city, you find quiet places, ancient temples, and old wooden houses.
Layers of history. Pockets of the past preserved amidst the new development. Offers real contrast.
Let's look at specific areas. Shinjuku, big commercial hub, department stores, shops, tall buildings, restaurants, cinemas, gardens, something of everything.
It really is. A major transport hub, business center, entertainment zone, plus that lovely Gion garden for peace. Multifaceted.
At least Shinjuku is more the business side. Tall buildings, 250,000 workers, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building, TMGB.
Yeah, the administrative and corporate heart, lots of skyscrapers. TMGB is iconic, great views from the top too.
East Shinjuku, more eating, shopping, fun. And the garden, different vibes.
Definitely more lively, entertainment focused over there. And Shinjuku Gion is a real gem, several garden styles.
Meiji Jingu Shrine gets a shout out. Important Shinto shrine built in the 1920s for Emperor Meiji. Very popular, especially at New Year.
A major spiritual site dedicated to the emperor who oversaw modernization. Huge, peaceful grounds right in the city. Very significant.
Then Sensuji Temple in Asakusa, important Buddhist temple, oldest in Tokyo and an older part of town.
Gives you a feel for old Edo. The approach road, Nakamizudori, is full of traditional shops. A link to the deep past.
The imperial palace where the emperor lives, site of the old Edo castle, gardens open sometimes.
A connection to both feudal and imperial history right in the center. The East Garden offers a look at the old castle foundations.
Ueno Park, a cultural cluster, gardens, temples, shrines, and the big one, Tokyo National Museum. Huge collection of Japanese and Asian art.
A major cultural destination. Several museums, a zoo, temples. You could spend days there.
And for shopping. Shibuya and Ginza, both famous. Shibuya known for trends, the scramble crossing.
Yeah, very youth-oriented, fashionable. That crossing is legendary.
Ginza is more upscale, expensive. Luxury brands, department stores, galleries.
Sophisticated, established, high-end shopping and dining. Different crowds, different styles.
Okay, stepping outside Tokyo. Other places to visit. Kyoto first. Capital for over 1,000 years. Old houses, temples, palaces, gardens. The heart of traditional Japan.
Absolutely essential for that. So much history preserved. Temples, Zen gardens, traditional makiya houses. It's stunning.
Key sites. Kinkakuji, Golden Pavilion, and Kiyomizudera Temple with the wooden stage.
Iconic. Kinkakuji's gold reflection is unforgettable. Kiyomizudera's stage and views are breathtaking. Both Deeply significant.
Gion district in Kyoto, famous for geisha, traditional restaurants, tea houses.
The classic image of old Kyoto. You might still see Geico or Maiko there. Very atmospheric.
Hiroshima next. Important for the Peace Memorial Park and Museum, the A-Bomb Dome, a place of remembrance.
A very moving and important visit. A testament to the horrors of war and a powerful call for peace.
Osaka, another big city, known for food, nightlife, modern buildings like the Umeda Sky Building, more energetic.
Definitely has a reputation for being lively, friendly, and obsessed with food. Kudai until you drop. The Sky Building is impressive modern architecture.
Osaka, Himeji Castle, the best preserved samurai castle.
Widely considered so. The White Heron Castle. It's magnificent. A real window into feudal Japan's military architecture. UNESCO site.
Nara, near Kyoto, an even older capital, famous for Tadaiji Temple, biggest wooden building, giant Buddha.
And the friendly wild deer in Nara Park. Tadaiji is awe-inspiring. Nara is packed with ancient temples and history.
Lastly, Okinawa. Far south, warm climate, beaches, marine life. Different culture, too. Old Ryukyu Kingdom castles.
Yes, a distinct history and culture. Subtropical vibes, beautiful nature, unique food blending Japanese and Southeast Asian influences. A different side of Japan.
Right, we can't finish without talking Japanese food. A wonderful part of visiting, the source says. Lots of restaurants, regional dishes, beautiful presentation.
The artistry is incredible. It looks as good as it tastes. Meticulous care in every dish.
You can eat cheaply noodle shops, izakayas, pubs with food, or go fancy at ryoti restaurants for special occasions.
A huge range. Quick, tasty ramen, fun evenings at an izakaya, or elaborate multi-course meals in beautiful settings. Something for everyone.
Some famous types mentioned: tempura, battered fried stuff, kaiten sushi, conveyor belt sushi,
Fun and accessible.
sashimi, raw fish, and sushi, rice with fish veg, globally loved now.
Staples that showcase freshness and skill.
A typical meal: fish, vegetables, noodles, and always rice and miso soup.
The core components. Rice is central. Miso soup is ubiquitous, healthy, balanced.
And bento boxes for lunch. Convenient, often beautifully arranged.
Practical and aesthetic. A balanced meal in a box.
Drinks. Green tea, of course,
Yeah.
but also coffee, sake, rice wine, and beer.
Green tea is traditional. Coffee very popular now. Sake and beer widely enjoyed with food or socializing.
Okay, final section. Into the future. Starts with a big challenge: the aging population. People live longer thanks to good diet, healthcare.
But it means a shrinking workforce, pressure on pensions and healthcare, a major demographic shift with huge implications.
Japan's industry is also changing. Less focus on cheap electronics as China and Korea compete there.
So Japan's shifting towards more specialized, high-value goods. Cameras, games, advanced tech, playing to its strengths in quality and innovation.
And robotics, still a leader. Half of the world's robots made there. Increasingly important everywhere.
Crucial for automation, healthcare, elder care. Addressing some of those demographic challenges too.
Environmental concerns too. More cars mean air pollution, so working on electric cars, cleaner energy.
A big focus. EVs, hybrids, stricter regulations, trying to become more sustainable.
Nuclear power has been significant, but the 2011 Fukushima accident changed things, raised huge safety concerns.
A massive trauma. Public trust in nuclear safety plummeted, led to reactor shutdowns and a big push to find alternatives.
So Japan is looking for other ways to generate electricity, and the document ends on this note. Japan is full of new ideas, but still building on its wonderful ancient culture.
Back to the core theme. Tradition and innovation hand in hand, navigating the future. It's a constant dynamic.
So we've journeyed through this document, really trying to focus on the details from those thousands of islands to the specifics of customs and modern challenges. Hopefully, by digging into those specifics, we've built a richer, more nuanced picture of Japan for you.
Absolutely. And thinking about it, this blend of deep tradition and rapid innovation. It's fascinating itself, but it also offers a perspective, doesn't it, on how any society navigates change.
That's a great point. What aspects of this detailed look at Japan really stood out to you? What questions does it raise about this unique country, or maybe even about our own rapidly changing world? Something to ponder.